And it is an early start to the 2015 Premiership season here in the BLK AFL Sydney competition. We're out here at Henson Park. It's the UTS versus University of New South Wales Eastern Suburbs. And already we have a ball out of bounds on the far side. A little bit of rain falling here at the Henson Park. But pretty good conditions. It looks fantastic out on the pitch. Joining me up in the commentary box this afternoon, Liam Flanagan. And Liam, you are associated with the UTS guys, but do a bit of work with Triple M. So we're looking forward to a start of another fine footy season.
Mate, obviously a past player with UTS, still a bit undecided as to my involvement with the club this year, but very exciting to see them get to kick off the season against NSW tonight. Nick Fosdyke, the new coach of the Bats this season, has been, pre-season has been really a lot of contested footy, working on a lot of contested footy and stoppages, so hopefully you see that type of footy from the Bats tonight.
Little Birdie told me also just before the game, 14 new faces out there for the Bats this evening. So a very new look Bats side, and of course a new look coach, but it is UTS with all the attacking early inside. They go inside now looking for Tregonning. He'll have the first shot on goal for the 2015 season, and you'd fancy him from here.
Yeah, Scotty, captain of the Bats last year. Ben Moyle, the new captain for the Bats this year, but Scotty would be hoping to get the Bats off on the right foot for this season. He sets sail from just inside the 50. The goal umpire has not moved. It's a goal to Tregonning for the Bats, so they lead 1-0. The Bulldogs yet to score.
Fantastic shot on goal from Tregonning as he just launched that through. And a great start for the Bats to the 2015 season. Now let's get it out of the way early. Was that a top knot or a man bun?
Yeah, Scotty's been toying with a few different hairstyles during the pre-season. I think he has settled on I think he's calling it the man bun, Craig.
Okay, no worries. We'll get that out. I'm just a little confused at the moment between top knots and man buns. It is a pressing issue, and I'm sure we'll see plenty of it during the AFL Sydney competition. As we're back in the middle. Ball comes clear, fumbles there, comes out to Cosgrove. He's wrapped up in a big tackle from Robbie, and the umpire will come in and throw this in the air. First game, of course, for the umpires for 2015. And so far, doing a great job. The ball comes clear again now. No one really in charge of this as they go through hard. Plenty of tackling, and as you said, UTS, they want to model their team. In fact, there's a free kick going to Robbie, and he goes quickly inside 50. And a great mark taken, Farrelly for the Dogs, and he'll have a shot on goal.
Yeah, not much Labs could have done about that one. It was a terrific delivery inside there by Robbie, and a strong mark taken by Farrelly. So he'll have this one about 30 metres out, not much of an angle to speak of. So the Bulldogs looking to hit back on the scoreboard.
Over 3 minutes 20 in the first quarter. Steps in nicely, looks good off the boot. Umpire does not move. The Dogs get the answer, and we're all 1 goal apiece here at Henson Park.
A little bit of rain, light rain falling just before the bounce, but it looks like that's cleared up, so hopefully the surface hasn't absorbed too much of that, and we can see some nice dry football.
Yeah, there was a bit of rain earlier on in the day, a little bit of rain coming on the way in this afternoon around about that 5 o'clock, and just light rain falling just before the bounce. But you have to say the grounds staff here at Henson Park, Marrickville Council, have done a fantastic job.
Magnificent, Nick.
Almost burning the green LEDs out of the plasma at the moment. Ball comes back down, drops clear, couldn't get on there. Murrell in the ruck now for UTS, goes and gets his own ball. Works above the packs and at ground level. Ball spills free, and it's the Dogs who get the ball going inside 50. Camp back there, good mark taken.
That was Labs there. Tom Larby, new recruit to the club this year. He's a booming left kick out to the far wing, and Murrell takes a strong mark on the chest.
They still call him Michael Murrell. They still call him Mumbles. Might have been his older brother, Daniel.
I think it was Daniel was Mumbles. Michael Murrell's just Muzz.
Free kick going to Moyle. High contact. Moves the ball quickly inside 50. Not a great kick. But out to advantage. Another one high there. Could have been a free kick going to Hewitt, but the ball spills free. UTS go inside 50 again. No one really taking advantage there. The ball spills the back of the pack. Chance here for the Bats. Plenty of dogs around it now. Drops clear as well. In there for the dogs there was O'Callaghan trying to get the ball out to advantage. It's just trickling towards goal. This is dangerous for the dogs. UTS just fumbling this ball through, and eventually a bit of pressure from Pascoe relieved, although he's going to get it back with a little bit of interest as the ball goes out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, terrific contested footy in there by the Bats. They just kept hunting it. The Dogs did well, but unfortunately that kick's gone just out of bounds on the full. Looks like the free kick's going to be taken out on the outer side by Lloyd. He'll kick it to the top of the goal square. In fact, now he'll probably claim it as a shot at goal. But either way,
that's a genuine shot at goal. There's no question about that. That's the worst kick to the top of the square I've ever seen. And the Bats get another one. It's a shootout at Henson Park early in the 2015 BLK AFL Sydney season.
In fact, that one looks like it might have been kicked by the new captain, Ben Moyle. Young South Australian, been at the club for a few years. Took last season off. Was having some back issues, and looks like he's gotten over those because he has been tearing up the track this pre-season.
Back in the middle, in the ruck for the Dogs now. See that 23 on our list. Check that one out. And Murrell on the top of that pack just cleans up for UTS. We'll have another. Well, in fact, it's Widmer, who was listed in 31. He's out there in 23. On the left boot, he gets it going forward again. Nice pace on the ball. Could have been a throw, but beautifully done. Popped up there to foot. Steps around one, steps around another, goes for home. That's a great goal early in the season. Alex Foote. What a classic goal. And we'll just bypass the potential throw.
Yeah, no, ignoring that, the umpire, he would have had some angry Bulldogs fans if he'd taken that one off him for the throw. I think Foote knew the cameras were around because he balked a couple there, but finished very well on the right foot snap across the body, running at full pace. So 2 goals apiece here. It's been very clean skills on what is a bit of a dewy night with a bit of rain around.
2 straight kicks apiece. And at the 7.5 minute mark, geez, we've seen some good shots on goal so far. If this is any indication of what the AFL Sydney season will be, then we're in for a cracker. Maddox goes inside 50, a fly from the back, couldn't quite get there. I think that's Howard lining up in 23. Just couldn't see his number, couldn't see his face, just saw his marking style. Likes to fly, does James Howard. In there again, good work there at ground level from Tregonning, but he's wrapped up. Good tackling from Parmenter, and we'll see a ball up inside 50.
Great clearance work there by Maddox for the Bats.
Murrell with a big leap. Nice kick, straight down to the goal kicker again. And the first kick offline for UTS. And
it's good clearance work there by Tregonning. Backed his pace in. He doesn't have a lot of it. Not the quickest player in the Bats lineup, but...
You can say that.
I can now.
Now, Dogs got an outrider here, and they'll get this one clear quickly. Now the huddle breaks. They come to the near side. By hand. Now having to run it. They're under pressure, the Bulldogs. Going back again, trying to find something out. Well played by the UTS. They set up well for that kick out, and they nearly get the advantage. Danaher at ground level trying to get the ball up. Couldn't get it clear, but Murrell, he's good below his knees, is Murrell. Drives them inside again, looking on that occasion for Casey. But the Dogs, again, strong in defence.
So the Bulldogs, half back, look to clear the danger here. Not quite, bit of a shank there coming from Foote, but the ball has gone over the boundary line, so it'll be a boundary throw-in, centre wing. The Bats lead it by 1.
Line up again, Vidmer against Murrell. That'll be a good battle. Murrell got the height, Vidmer probably got the body, and he used it well on that occasion. Goes forward, looking there, and it's Brown. Could be out of bounds intentionally. The umpire gives him the benefit of the doubt, and we'll see a boundary throw. And I don't know he had many options on his left side there, but the umpire a little bit forgiving early in the season. Go again, Murrell and Vidmer. Vidmer once again just using his strength. Let's be a bit smart about that, Murrell, if they're going forward. Now they turn around. Trying to duck under there was McIntyre. Did well. Goes for goal. Oh, look at that! Another one from the Dogs. And it's a great goal there to Adam McIntyre, and they get another on the board, the Bulldogs, and they go ahead by 5.
Terrific work around the stoppage there by McIntyre. He backed himself in, but in the ruck there, big Widmer, causing Murrell some problems early on. I don't know whether Bats coach Nick Fosdyke will be too happy about those men getting loose out the back of those stoppages for the Bats, so I imagine the Bats backman will be tightening down at these next stoppages.
So we're back in the middle. 10.5 played first quarter. This time Murrell trying to get over, but once again Widmer batting it forward. Gets it back through the middle. The Dogs working the ball well. Inside, could have been a push in the back. Umpire says play on. The Dogs now on the attack. Working their way through. The kick comes out. That could be out of bounds on the full, and it is.
Larby just going out of mid-air there. Not quite the result he wanted, just trying to clear the danger.
So the kick will come from Moyle, I think. In fact, no, it wasn't. It was O'Donnell. Look at the right side of the page. And a nice spot up there has found Farrelly, and Farrelly will shoot from about 45 out on a 45-degree angle.
Farrelly, they've looked at him a couple of times, or almost every time they've gone inside the forward 50 here, so his opportunity to kick his second. He's on his way in, kick from 30, the angle will be the question. He started at the left-hand goal post and it hasn't worked its way back. So behind there to the Bulldogs, and they stretch their lead out to 6.
Very wide zone here being employed by the Bulldogs, and it looks good at this stage. They've got some numbers down the middle of the ground, UTS. Murrell set up just inside the square. Be interesting to see how they go. I think it's Moyle with the ball. And depending on how big a kick he is, he goes long, and it is to Murrell. Brings the ball to ground, but it's only Dogs there, pushing through. In that occasion, once again, another number we don't know, number 4. And not on the team sheet. We'll get that one as soon as we can. Stepping inside, some good work from Sayakot, it is. A new name to AFL Sydney. And the ball trickles out of bounds. The Dogs are under pressure early in the game, but they've responded well, and they now lead by a goal.
Murrell should win this one. He's against the undersized lower here, and he does. He takes it down front spot. Kirkhope quite can't take it there. There's a Bulldog at the bottom of the pack, and the umpire has blown his whistle. It's not coming out. So we'll have another ball up just inside the Bulldogs attacking forward 50.
Isn't it great to see Frank Kalasic running around again for his 84th season in the AFL Sydney competition?
Commands plenty of respect out there, does Frank.
He has found the fountain of youth, and he drinks from it aplenty. They go again, the Dogs. Good tackle applied, but still a squeeze kick out. Good attack on the ball. The UTS really under some pressure now. Spinning out of the tackle. Jeez, it's close in quarters. And the Bats it is to bring it out of the middle. They've got the numbers here now. Just need to get the ball off the deck. Didn't really bend over where he should there, did Jack Hewitt. And now he drags it in. The umpire will have a close look at this, and he'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And we'll have a ball up on this near wing.
Big Jacko, another new arrival at the Bats this year. Fierce at the contest.
Widmer tries to bat it away. Can't do so. Spinning out of the tackle was Robbie. Gives it off. Oh, some good work there, and Robbie gets it back. Drives him inside 50. Just, it's not, he's going to prove a liar out of me. It just trickles over at the 50.3 metre mark.
Bulldogs really backing themselves by hand in these slippery conditions. You can just see some of the Bats' tackles just slipping off. Might have to aim a bit lower at the hips if they're going to make some of these stick. It's mauling in the ruck now.
One-on-one contest around. This Parmenter was the loose man. They get it clear, the Dogs. Just can't get some clean ball. Maybe that dew or rain has just got itself onto the footy. It's just a little bit more slippery. Could have been a free kick. It is. Parmenter gets the kick away. It'll come back though. And it'll be a shot on goal once again to Joel Robbie. Be a good kick from here though.
Can he go the journey, Craig?
On that angle, you really need to put a little bit of extra effort. I think it looks a spot up. They've opened up a big hole right in front of goal.
This is about 3 kicks for me.
And a bounce. And he goes short. I don't even know you. What am I saying? They go again, the Dogs. They really mess this one up, and the UTS bats take it over the boundary line, and we'll have another boundary throw in. 14, nearly 15, well, in fact 15 minutes just ticked over here in the first quarter.
Bit of a shootout earlier. It's dried up a little bit. It'll be mauling in the ruck for the bats. He's one front spot.
Had to bring that down. That wasn't the pat. He's put it right to the advantage of Parmenter. They've done well to lock this in, though. And we'll have another ball up. If you're joining us online, make sure you drop us a tweet at AFL Sydney and let us know where you're watching from and your thoughts maybe on the 2015 season and how you see your team going as we go forward. The ball again just squeezed out of a pack and over the boundary line.
Rawson Kirkhope there taking it over. It will be important for the bats this year in the midfield. Big body.
So after a real shootout at the start of this game, it's sort of clogged up a bit as the defensive side of both sides has got their structures right. Quick kick out of defence. Going there towards Larby. Squeeze clear. There's plenty of numbers around the pack. Howard, he doesn't know where the ball is, but he's just in there throwing his body around and tackling. And once again, Larby just turns the ball around the corner. Going to be a difficult ball to mark. And they did well. Comes back up. Good recovery there. It was
Kaika getting the quick kick out of the pack there.
Yes, it was listed in 23, now in 28. And that's set up well.
Kalina can't quite take the mark, probably drops what he should have taken, but Maddox does well. Gets the kick out to Harvey. That wet ball starting to affect the bats here, but the umpire's picked out a free kick. Bit of an illegal shepherd off the ball, and it's going to go to McApsney.
McAnespy, I think it is, goes forward. Elusive foul in there as they go again. UTS looking for another goal. Comes off the boot now of Harvey. Inside 50, a good sit there, but it's not taken. But beautifully roved there off the pack from Tregonning and just sprays the kick to the left-hand side. And a minor score reduces the margin to 5 points. We've played 17.5 first quarter.
He'll be disappointed with himself there, Tregonning. Opportunity, could have had 3 goals in the opening term.
Dangerous kick here in there and picked up beautifully and sprayed by Casey. Another opportunity gone begging, and there's a player down. Bit of concern. He's up though. The player is Jourdain.
Just got collected there by Kaika. His job inside that forward 50 is to keep the pressure high. And he did that there, but collected the knees of Jourdain.
Great is to just take a corky out of your first game of the season. Rest that up for the rest of the week.
It's a cold night too.
It's a long walk back here to the boundary line as well. That one stings. At the 18.5-minute mark, a boundary throw in, far side. Different faces in the ruck now. That's Morling. And the umpire sent a free kick. It'll go to the Dogs. And the kick will be taken. Work that out at quarter time. Henderson. Back across. Handball just offline. Some of the skills falling down now. The bats pounce. Turns it around the corner. And that's a great kick. And a beautiful goal from Kaika. And UTS take the lead.
Another one of the South Australian boys at the UTS bats, James Kaika. We mentioned his intensity, his forward pressure inside the 50 for the bats. That goal is just reward for the tackling, the hassling he's been doing of the Bulldogs backman. So an important goal there for the bats, and it puts him in the lead by 2 points with not long to go in this first term.
Wasn't an easy kick though too. He picked it up the ground, had a player right in front of him. He was able to swing the boot around and curl it in.
He was never going to pass. He was never going to pass.
So back in the centre. Mauling in the ruck again. He's up. And no real advantage taken. Widmer. Good at ground level. Got to be careful though. He gives it away, tackles the bloke, gets it back, tackles the bloke. And it's one of those drills where you're not allowed to go outside the centre circle at the moment. They eventually do, and the free kick comes. It'll be the Bats. Chance here late in the quarter as we tick into time on.
Be Tregoning there. The man buns come out. He's going to go deep inside 50.
It was never going to work. It was never going to work. There was just not enough purchase on the bun. As we get back into the football. Oh, the shot on goal! Easy as you like. The Bats get 2 in a row, and they jump out by 8 points.
Fantastic finish there by Law. Another new face at the Bats this season, one of those 14 we spoke about before the game. Just terrific composure there. Was clean with the hands off the ground and saw that he didn't have a player coming at him, had enough time. He nailed it on the right foot there, so some crucial stoppage time or injury time goals here for the Bats.
4-3, plays 3-1. Back in the centre. Almost like before was coming out there was Danaher, dispossessed. Plenty of players running on the ball. Did well with the tackle there to avoid going in the back. And some good work by Harvey for the Bats. Tackled again. He's in there mauling, throwing bodies around. And the umpire's seen a free kick. It'll go to UTS.
It's Harvey there with the footy.
Plenty of contests going forward. Just kicks to the pack. Off the back of the pack, lands in the arms of O'Callaghan. Just gets it back again. Sakayat throws on the right boot. The inverted reverse torp, the hardest kick in football. Just drops about 60 out. And the tackling pressure has been fantastic from both sides. As you said, that contested footy that UTS have been working on, well, it looks like the Dogs have had a fair dose of it themselves. Out of the back of the pack, just trying to bat the ball forward. That's a dangerous kick, but he did well to keep it out of the air, so to speak. Danaher, he's beset upon. And the ball's still in, eventually gets pushed over in the dark corner of Henson Park. The boundary throw in.
Murrell back onto the ground here for the Bats.
Very open forward line at the moment. One-on-one contests around the ground. Murrell falls over at the crucial stage. Widmer just tells his feet, but they get away with it, the Bats. On the boot. Pushing forward, just falls short. And then it was Plant who tried to take the mark at ground level. They got some space on the far side now, the Dogs. They just hold it up. And there's a 50-metre penalty. And this will put him within striking distance.
I think it was Howard there. Tregoning had the mark covered and Howard just came rushing in, perhaps thinking that my mate Jack, whose surname I haven't quite learnt yet, was going to play on.
We'll go with McCannaspy, the Scottish. No idea if he is or not. There's Jackie Boy. Steps over one line, steps over two. On its way, umpire's got a good look at this and sees it over the line. A great shot on goal, and the Dogs get one back.
Very important goal there for the Bulldogs. Well done to Jack to get one back there. Narrows the margin to 2 points. Can't be much time left in this first quarter.
Jeez, it's been a good one. 27 plays 25. It's UTS by 2 points, but for a little 5-minute period there of just dogged football at ground level, it's been an open, fantastic, skillful game. All the things you expect in round one. Marl, just neither ruckman getting advantage. Ground level is Kerber on the left boot going forward. Need a mark taken. Plenty of bodies around this one. Good tackling pressure in the forward 50. And the kick in from Moyle is offline. It'll go over the boundary line.
Just saw Larby there, one of the new recruits of the Bats, just throwing himself into contests. He's running back with the fly of the ball, jumped and spun and turned around in the air. Didn't get anywhere near it, but he's very athletic, is Larby, and will throw himself into everything.
Plenty of players around this contest. As the ball comes in, Marl works his way to the front of the pack, did well there. He gets the ball eventually in his own arms, tries to get it going through. Comes clear now, this will run around the corner from Tregoning, and goes well around the corner and eventually goes over the boundary line.
Bulldogs might want to look at that matchup. Tregoning being very dangerous inside 50 in this first quarter.
See there, it's Canaspi, your man, who seems to be lying up, so he might be letting him loose a bit, but he's kicking goals at the other end.
I think they shook hands at the start of the quarter and said we'll see you at the end of the fourth.
Well, they just reacquainted themselves there as they both get off the deck. I think we'll call that one to watch as the Dogs now get it clear. Dispossessed. Plenty of players around this. Casey in there for UTS. Widmer tries to get that big leg swinging through. Another one off the back there. Henderson goes forward. They've got one-on-one contest. It's been a really good defensive effort from both sides. And no easy football.
Can't speak for the Bulldogs coaching staff, but I know the Bats coaches will be very pleased with the contested footy that the Bats have been playing in this first quarter.
Murrell and Widmer. Once again, Murrell this time trying to push him under the ball. No real advantage for either side. Drops to the bottom of the pack. Now a little bit of space for the Dogs. Wants to be careful, gets it clear. Not really to any advantage. There's a whistle on the play. It's going to be downfield. In fact, there's a little bit of going on. So the tight football is overflown. And umpire's right onto it, laying down the law. And there'll be a free kick to University of New South Wales Eastern Suburbs. That's not 15. And as Plant does exactly that, just plants it forward. And good courage going back there from Cosgrove. Now in the arms of Lower. No real options going forward, but he finds one just tight on the boundary line. I think it's Danaher in the headgear. Kicks in the man on the mark. Can't do that. And ball trickles over. In fact, we'll have to get the player to jump that fence. It's not an easy fence here at Henson Park to jump either.
It is a very high fence here.
You've got about 1.5 feet before you actually get to the fence. As the siren sounds here at Henson Park for the end of the first quarter, and an exciting, entertaining quarter it has been. And we go into the break. The margin 2 points between UTS and the University of New South Wales Eastern Suburbs. 4-3-27 plays 4-1-25. And Liam, a great first quarter of the BLK AFL Sydney competition.
Terrific first term there by both sides. Really hard fought footy, as you mentioned, but also some very accurate set shots for goal in slippery conditions. For Foot being very good for the Bulldogs early on, as has Widmer in the ruck. He's just been a little bit strong for Murrell in this first quarter, but for the Bats it's been Tregonning who's been the dangerous man inside forward 50. Just the guy to his name. Could have had 3 if he'd kicked straight. But I imagine Fosdyke will be very happy with the effort of his men in this first term.
Entertaining quarter here at Henson Park for the start of the 2015 season. We'll take a break here and come back in about 5 minutes' time. We'll have all the action from the second quarter. It's UTS by 2 points. They lead the Bulldogs. And we take a break for quarter time. We're back here at Henson Park, getting set for the second quarter. And as we said, UTS lead by just 2 points. And it's been a very entertaining game of football. And as usual, the UTS crowd has come out in numbers. Good to see him here as we kick off the second term. And just gets tied up in the middle, trying to burrow his way through. Quite see who that was, but Mitchell it is for the Bats, who gets the ball going forward. Off the back of the pack, now in the arms of McAnaspy. Been lively early, much to the chagrin of Liam Flanagan up here, who can't pronounce his name. Foot by hand, I love that one. Trying to duck under the tackle in that occasion was, well, another number 3 out there. They haven't done us any favours, the Bulldogs. Not listed on the team sheet. We apologise to his mother. And Hewitt gets it going forward, steps around one is Plant, did it very well. He is solid in defence. Go again, the Bulldogs, trying to open up a little bit of space. Handball off Sakayat. Inside 50, needed mark. Oh, good option. Going hard at the football.
By Ipovitz.
Yep, you have that one. As he's in there tackling again as well. Now have a ball up inside 50 for UTS. In fact, it's going to be a free kick.
It's almost just reward there to Ipovitz for the bravery he showed going back with the flight there. switch the play to the outer side where he's got Kalina loose. The former soccer player, Damon Kalina, now one of the first picked in the back line for the Bats. With Morling. Probably could have given the handball there. He's got himself in some trouble here, but he snapped a kick and has found Murrell.
That's a perfectly weighted kick. As Murrell goes inside, big fly. That was planned again. Not known for his aerial acrobatics, but on that occasion could have taken Mark of the Year. We've seen a few Marks of the Year taken in round one here at Henson Park, and that was almost another one.
I look forward to showing Kaika the footage of someone standing on his head. He won't enjoy that at all.
Just ask Adam Tomlinson about that during the week. Jeez, he got some tweets. Josh Bruce took that screamer against the Giants.
Kaika at the bottom of the pack there. Could have got a free kick for in the back, and I think he might have.
Good umpiring that. There's a lot of traffic around the ball.
In fact, it hasn't gone to Kaika. It's that man Tregonning.
It's really the Tregonning and McAnespie show at the moment. And on the back of current form, you'd back him in here. This will go straight over the dial. Tregonning looks good off the boot. Started to come back to the left, but didn't come back enough. And just offline, minus score. They lead by 3 points.
Missed opportunity there, but it is that man McAnespie to bring it in. Doesn't quite hit his target. Look out, here's Howard. Loves what these. Will Bork gets the quick kick on.
Casey
was shrugged his man. He's gone the check side. Well, he's one of the new blokes out of the Bats, but he's become an instant favourite there amongst his teammates. Great work there by Howard as well to get around the opponents and get the ball to Casey. So the Bats have the first one of the second quarter.
Keeps kicking goals like that, he'll be your definite favourite for UTS. Jack in the box, James Howard, just up and about.
Speaking of favourites around the team, he's been very exciting, even in trading drills. You always want to be on his side in the handball drill. He is impossible to tackle.
I reckon he'd be trying to take hangers in handball drills as well, wouldn't he?
He's given it a crack.
Widmer, look at him just a dog at a bone there. Trying to get that ball clear. It comes back to him. Murrell and he take on another ruck contest. Danaher dishes off. That was McIntyre. They're a little bit of trouble here in the middle of the ground. Picking it up cleanly was Mitchell for the Bats. Drives them long. Here's Casey. Couldn't bring it in. He's got it again now. He loves a snap goal. We know that for certain. Could have been holding the ball here. The umpire will say yes. A great tackle. Pinned the arm. He had no way of getting that clear. And well done, Archibald. Not an easy man to tackle, Bradford Casey.
It's a big unit.
Oh. Umpire called play on. Came off the back of the pack. Danaher in there for the Dogs. Batted away. In fact, it was Cosgrove. And now the Bats will get another opportunity to go forward through Nethersole.
Sets it high, top of the square. Casey claimed the mark. The umpire said play on. It's come off hands. Looks like it was Maddox going through there with the footy in hand, but he's tackled. So it'll be a ball up just outside the goal square in the Bats forward 50.
I don't reckon he claimed it enough there, Casey. Could have shaken it a little bit more. Tried to plead his case. The umpire went the handball way too early for my liking. A free kick here, high contact, and it's going to go Tregonning again.
Tregonning. Now he needs this one. He's got 1-3 to his name at the moment. Needs this one to square the ledger up a bit. He should kick his second here. He's 15 metres out, directly in front. I reckon Casey undersold the mark attempt.
Yeah, he went the handball off. You've got to shake that thing and show it to the umpire a little bit more.
Maybe he's not a genuine full forward. Tregonning on his way in. Umpire has to move a little bit to his right, but he's got his second, Tregonning. And the Bats have their second consecutive goal for the second term. They extend their lead out to 15 points. 5.5 gone in the second quarter. You can always tell a genuine full forward by the claiming of the mark and the goals.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No full forward handballs like that either. Kicked out of the full forwards league. We're back in the middle now. Marl gets them plenty high, but Widmer read it well. Just swings around on the boot, goes forward, a mark taken. And some good work from McIntyre. Wants to play on now, goes to the far side. Not a great kick. Out there in front of foot. Taps it on twice, gets it eventually on the left boot. That's not 15, the umpire. See, that's a full forward. You've got to try and claim those before you go off. And the kick was smothered off the boot. Kirkhope it is, relieves a bit of pressure. Plenty of dogs out here though. They'd like to see this out, UTS. It doesn't go that way. I'll get it back. Top of the arc, not a great kick. Mark taken. Not even going to try and tell you who it is. And kick off the boot wasn't great. Going back with the flow of the ball, Michael Mitchell did very well. Pops it out to advantage. Now he sits over the top of it. You want to be careful doing that. They love that one, do the umpires. He's gone.
Yeah, he probably thinks himself a bit unlucky there, does Mitchie, but he did jump on top of the footy and the Bulldogs saw the opportunity and they jumped all over him and locked it in, so it'll be lower. Kick from probably just on the 50-metre arc.
Body language is anything. This will just test him. Just to go as close to the mark as possible. On the left boot, just gets it there. Not going to go the journey. Could have been a mark taken there on the line by Farrelly, but it eventually goes over the boundary line. Over the goal line for a minor score. 6-4 plays 4-2. We've played nearly 8 minutes of the second term. Bats by 14 points.
Widmer still causing Marl some problems in the ruck there. He's a very big body, and as you mentioned, even when the ball goes to ground, he still hunts it.
You almost want to stand back and have a run at it if you're going to go up against Widmer. That was better by Murrell. Got his shoulder in there and bumped him out of the way. Not an easy thing to do.
Now, if Frank's been consistent here, there should be a holding the ball against the Bulldogs.
Don't you question Frank's consistency.
I think he's pointed the wrong way there.
Okay. No, he hasn't.
Oh.
Robbie, the benefit of the free kick.
I don't think my glasses are working, Craig. I don't know what happened there.
Foot off the ground. He's tackled well. Great tackle there from Harvey and rightly rewarded. And a good defensive effort. But the Bats just under a little bit of pressure at the moment. Need to find a target here.
Be Jacko to fly.
Good
Great
punch.
ball from behind.
That was Henderson.
Mitchie. Quick snap around the body to centre wing. Howie flies as expected. Ball comes to the ground. Bulldog could have got a free kick there in Parmenter. We'll have a ball up. Centre wing. Bats lead it by 14. Just over 9 minutes gone in the second quarter.
This time Murrell does exactly that. Takes a run at it, tries to get over the top, but the free kick comes and Parmenter will get another chance to drive this forward for the Dogs.
Kirkhope a little overzealous there in the tackle.
Parmenter, top of the arc, and the mark's taken and he's off. Ipovitz, the old tap on the ground, haven't seen that since 1978. Drives it forward, and eventually it's Plant that comes away with it. Just needed to take a mark there, the Bats. Plant gets it back. Usually a good user of the ball, and he is on this occasion. Out there for McKinlay. He drives it inside 50. Good courage going back with the fly of the ball. On that occasion was Kalina. And UTS have a chance. I know it's Danaher who stops the run. Goes inside. They've got a free player inside the centre square. They keep coming. Comes out to O'Callaghan. O'Callaghan now drives them forward. Good lead. Just didn't quite make the journey. And turns it around for Farrelly. The Bats pounce. Good tackle. Eventually squeezes it out. And Brown's kick goes over the boundary line.
Bats will be happy with that. Bulldogs switched that footy and they had options on. But the Bats worked it out. And boundary throw in centre wing. It'll be Murrell and big Widmer. Widmer telling his midfielders exactly where to go. Shoves Murrell out the way and taps it straight down the throat of Danaher. Doesn't come out cleanly though. Murrell goes back in after it. Quick kick out of the pack for the Bulldogs. Ipovitz leads back in the race though and busts through the tackle. Might have taken on one too many. The umpire said he got the handball away, but it's fallen the way of the Bulldogs. Flying shot from outside 50, but Kalina, aware of the dangers taken, the relieving mark inside the goal square.
Kalina finds a teammate in the form of Michael Mitchell. Mitchell runs. They need to find a mark here. Couldn't do so. Off the hands there of Hewitt. Brings it down to advantage. Running through Harvey. picks it nicely off the deck, then just scrubs the kick. I'm not sure what that'll do. It'll make some sort of highlight reel at UTS, that's for sure. And
I think it's a Bulldogs player on top of this at the bottom of the pack.
He got away with that, Hewitt. He looks a little bit despondent there. Not sure what happened there.
He blowing a bit. First game of the season. Larby will contest deep inside the Bats forward line. Ball spills out the back. It's big Widmer at the bottom of the pack again. He's had a terrific start to this game. Pack forms. It's a bit of stacks on there, and the umpire blows his whistle and says we'll have a ball up. 30 metres out from the Bats goal, directly in front. Bats lead it by 14.
Widmer just puts his body in front of it. Howard runs onto a left boot, round the corner. Thank you very much. Celebrate, son.
Did he enjoy that one or what?
They've worked it out, Liam. They need to rove to Widmer's ruck.
Absolutely, you're right. Widmer been very dominant in the ruck as he's struggling to get to the sideline here. He's worked very hard in this first quarter and a half. He's blowing a bit, so he's going to have a well-earned rest. But Howard is going to be one that opposition teams have to watch throughout the season. So quick and so clean when the ball's on the deck. Finds a way to lose his man in traffic. He's got a well-deserved goal there. His first as a Bat. And that stretches the Bats' leads back out to 20 points.
All of a sudden, as you say, 20 points is the margin. And they go again, UTS. It really hasn't looked like that sort of margin as a mark's taken by Hewitt. He's got a chance now to just rest on the kick.
Casey.
Look at that. Casey at full strength. Couldn't bring it in. Over the back of the pack, Larby tries to dribble it through. Oh!
Everybody's getting in on the act.
That is sensational stuff from Larby. I think he even surprised himself on that occasion. And the Bats get another in fine form.
I think Larby must have been doing some kicking practice with Howard after trainings. Certainly not one from the coach's manual, but that lead out to 26 points now. 8 goals for the UTS. Ball back in the middle.
They've really sent a message out to the rest of the BLK AFL Sydney competition. This year is going to be an exciting one. Off the boot there of McIntyre, goes inside for the Dogs, but they've stand tall Kalina. In fact, I think it might have been Anderson with the kick out. Back there, Henderson for the Dogs, goes back to McAnaspy on the left boot, down the line. Eventually it's Lower who picks it up. Nice little handball over the top. They've got a chance now, the Dogs. They go forward and the free kick comes. It's going to go there, I think it's Farrelly, and it is. Advantage played. One-on-one contest here. Parmenter turns one way, turns around the other way. Oh, just through the mid-out. Gets another chance, Parmenter, off the knee. And couldn't get it going forward, but eventually goes over the boundary line. How was the smother? It was just the old, oh, it's behind me.
Fantastic pressure there by the Bats back six. The smother first. Parmenter unlucky. He had 2 bites at it. But a superb chase down there by Kirkhope. The ball spilled over the boundary line. So boundary thrown inside the Bulldogs, forward 50.
Ball comes in. There's been a change in the ruck. Running onto it, O'Donnell. Could have been off the knee. Umpire says no. We'll have another boundary throw in.
It's Morling giving the chop out in the ruck there for Murrell. Played mostly in the twos last year, but was identified as someone with the potential to play in the Prems, so it's great to see him getting his chance in round 1.
Carbon copy. Ball comes back in. Brought down there from Rowe. From the Bulldogs. Plenty of numbers. He's in there again. Good tackle applied by Brown. Umpire says it's not a good tackle. Got him over the shoulder, and the kick will be taken. Chance now to reduce the margin.
This is one of those mysterious Bulldogs players who, for whatever reason, may have changed jumper numbers just before kick-off, before the bounce, so...
Yeah, it doesn't make it easy. The kick goes across, so we don't need to worry about the goal scorer's column. And push through for a minor score. 25 points the margin, 16 played in the second term. It's the 2015 BLK AFL Sydney competition. UTS lead the University of New South Wales Eastern Suburbs.
It'll be Ipovitz to bring it back in for UTS. Look to kick long to the outer side here. That's the direction his ruckman are heading. Mauling to fly. Brings it to the front where looks like Kerber gets the quick kick away up to centre half forwards towards Hewitt. Can't quite take the mark there. Bulldogs at the fall of the ball do well. They've got men loose on the outer side if they can find them. Doesn't quite sit for McIntyre there. Goes back into trouble but gets the handball out to McAnasby. He's eventually wrapped up in a solid tackle by Howard. Spills now for the Bats. They're going to send it deep inside 50 through Larby. He goes long to the top of the square where somehow a man's got out all on his own. Could have been a free kick. In fact, it was.
He's going to play on the advantage. Oh, dangerous, but he gets it there. Hewitt.
Hewitt's first goal is a bat as well. He's really started to present in this second quarter. He's working his way up. He's been presenting solidly on that outer wing as the centre half forward option, but somehow he just lost his man. Perhaps one of the Bulldogs players caught ball watching and he got very deep and all in plenty of space. And kicks another goal for the Bats.
It's a good setup. He really found a bit of space out the back. And there's still some concern on the far side for McAnasby.
Just got slung around the collar there by Howard in that tackle before. And looks like the trainers are just rubbing the head a bit. Perhaps a little bit of a concussion concern for McAnasby.
Once again, it's UTS out of the middle. They drive it long. Here comes, I think that was Hewitt again. Oh, could have been a free kick. Umpire said play on. They've got plenty of numbers behind the ball.
Ipovitz has a man loose at centre half forward in Mitchell. Mitchell has a man loose in the pocket if he wants him. Instead, he'll just sit it to the top of the square where Casey comes out in a strong lead, drops it, couldn't quite hold on to it. Bulldogs through Widmer. Will go long. Casey, good pressure. Could have been a free kick downfield there. Umpire said in the action of kicking, and the ball has spilled over the boundary line. It'll be a throw-in just outside the Bats attacking 50.
Well, Radford Casey has really sent a message out and said, I'm here, look out. And there'll be some people in the AFL Sydney fraternity liking what they see in Radford Casey. He just goes hard at the football. And it's coming away from the pack there was McIntyre. High kick inboard. Couldn't quite there. Oh, it's returned. Jordan Law, I think it is there, the man bunt. Oh, that's...
Yeah. Well, he saw Tregonings fall out and he thought, I better represent, so he got the rubber band and he's... Seems compulsory for every side to have one this year, Craig. Take that as no comment.
Look, if I had it, I wouldn't do that with it.
Ball not going too far. Again, solid contested footy by both sides here. And that margin, 31 points in favour of UTS, as we see McAnasby coming from the ground.
Approaching time on in the second quarter. Could have been a high contact. Umpire says play on. Good attack on the ball. There's Casey again. You've been hit. And you've been hit by the Case train.
Yeah, it's a free kick to the Bulldogs, but the umpire's going to call it back. It's going to be a free kick to Danaher, but Casey coming through at pace.
It was McIntyre that copped at it, and that was right in the ribs. Worked by the trainer there to stop him getting piffed by the football on the way back.
Completely unprotected there was McIntyre. He's doing well to stay on the field. He's sucking in the big ones, but that would have hurt.
Danaher with the football for University of New South Wales Eastern Suburbs. They go looking for Widmer. Did well there on that occasion, Murrell. Made sure he didn't get any advantage at the run of the football. And we'll have a boundary throw in.
Why wouldn't you go looking for Widmer? He's been one of the few winners at the moment for the Bulldogs. Dominant in the ruck and still hunting that footy when it goes to ground. He'll take front spot against Murrell again. Slaps it down towards Danaher. Ball sits kindly for him. Might have got the handball to stay in bounds. Bulldogs have numbers at the bottom of the pack. Mitchell in there, applying a couple of tackles. In fact, it was Law, but the ball has gone over the boundary line, so another throw in forward of centre for the Bulldogs.
A 2-point margin at quarter time. It's blown out now to 31 points in favour of UTS. And, well, Nick Fosdyke could be very happy with this second term effort from his charges. Around the corner, that was, I think it's a near, wearing number 4 for the Dogs. Harry Near.
Free kick there.
Checking the list there. And a free kick downfield. Go to Larby. He goes inside. A good penetrating kick. Stands tall underneath that. And a good work there from Cosgrove. Drives him inside. Where's Casey? Back of the pack. Couldn't quite get a run at it. Some good attack on the football.
Kaika lucky not to get punished for sliding in there.
Oh, they've got another shot on goal here. Quick kick out. And it landed in the arms there of Nethersole. And he will have a shot on goal. Just to take it out to 37 points, Liam.
Another one of the new faces at the Bats. Just another tall, rangy type, a bit like Larby. He's on his way in now. It'll take his best effort. He sets sail. Doesn't look like it's quite going to head there. Fly from behind. Mark not quite taken there by Larby. And it's gone over the back for a rush behind. But stretches the lead out to 32 points. Biggest of the game so far.
Kick in. Have to be good. Got the outriders. The huddle breaks now. And they go to this near side. The target on that occasion, I think, was Rowe. Couldn't bring it down. UTS with a chance. Rowe goes again. Trying to get it clear. And there was Kaker. Couldn't get the ball. Now they wrap the tackle around. Taken out of play there. Playing for the free kick was Ben Moyle. And the umpire's seen something. It's a high contact, and the kick will go to Alex Foot for the Dogs.
Lloyd just fresh on the ground, a little bit overzealous in the tackle again. Foot goes long to the wing. The fly will come from Farrelly, brings it to the front. Loose man there is O'Donnell for the Bulldogs. Keeps it in. Lloyd tries to take it out. At his back as he went to ground, and Anir takes it over the line for the Bulldogs. So boundary throw in, half forward flank for the Bats. They lead it by 32 points.
Comes in. A little bit of time on. There's been a few goals scored, predominantly at the left of screen. Quick kick out of traffic there from Brown. Just inside the 50 and over the boundary line. As the siren sounds to end the first half here at Henson Park. A fantastic quarter of football from the UTS boys. And they turned a 2-point margin at quarter time into a 32-point margin at half time. And they will be very happy with their efforts so far. The Bulldogs, on the other hand, well, they had it in front of them and had a couple of opportunities, weren't able to capitalise on those, and they will do a good little bit of soul searching at half time. Liam, it's been a fantastic quarter, that one, for the UTS boys.
Has been a fantastic quarter of footy from the Bats. Just hunting that footy on the ground. Again, that contested footy that coach Nick Fosdyke has had them working on in the pre-season. Howard really came to the fore in that quarter. We saw him dangerous when the ball hits the deck. And the man that will be on the lips of a lot of the Bats fans, Radford Casey, throwing his weight around up in that forward 50, doing a lot of damage too.
Great quarter of footy from UTS. They go into the main break here at Henson Park, 32 points ahead of their opponents. 9-5-59 plays 4-3-27. We're going to take a short break here at Henson Park. We'll be back with all the action from the second term. It's the Bats by 32 points. Just about set for the start of the third term here at Henson Park. If you've just joined us, the margin at quarter time was 2 points in favour of UTS, but a very strong second term sees them lead at half time by 32 points over the University of New South Wales Eastern Suburbs. And joining me up here tonight in the commentary box, Liam Flanagan. And Liam, you snuck into the rooms, I believe, and got a sense of what to expect for this quarter?
Yeah, jumped into the Bats rooms. Didn't get too deep in there. Didn't want to see Coach Fosdyke. I don't think he would have wanted me too far into the inner circle, given that I'm having a few words to say up here. But look, absolutely really pleased with the first half effort of his side, but at the same time, nothing achieved yet. That was the main message, and I think you can expect to see the Bats come out absolutely firing here in this third term. They will be looking to send a message very early on. Expect to see them crashing in as they did in those first two quarters, and following the lead of big Radford Casey up there and looking to hurt a few of the Bulldogs players when they can.
The Bulldogs who came out early from the halftime break, and they were set in positions very, very quickly. They'll be keen to get a little bit of ascendancy early in the quarter, that's for sure. They can't let this one get away from them. And as I said, the margin 32 points. It really hasn't been a 32-point game if you are looking at it without a scoreboard on the screen, but that's where they sit at the moment, and they let it slip any further, it might slip out of their hands. All set for the start of the third term. As the umpire comes in, and we're away. And all straight away, Widmer out of the ruck. He's been dominant in there, but it's UTS who mop up. They push forward, wide open spaces at the forward line. Once again, at ground level, that's Larby. Tries to get through the tackle. Ball spills free. Danaher did well, applied the tackle, and then picked up the ball. He'll get it back here again. On the left, he looks forward. This one will bounce to a contest. Nice little piece of work there. I think that was lower for the Dogs. Just don't seem to get any clean footy at the moment. And that's come off the boot. Unfortunate for the University of New South Wales. And it'll be a UTS free kick.
He was unlucky there, Foot. Just bobbed into him at the wrong time. Netherslow will send it towards the forward 50. Larby will fly. Widmer did very well to get in front. Tregoning at the fall of the ball. In fact, it's Law. Got the top knots confused. Coming through strongly with Hewitt. Kaika, a little undersized in that contest, but he's done well to come through with the footy. Tregoning, quick snap over the shoulder. Howard leads in the race and takes an easy chest mark. At 35 out on a slight angle, so an opportunity to kick the first of the third quarter and extend that lead.
James Howard was some good play from Tregoning. He really has been the best out there for UTS so far. Howard has kicked one. He's a Zena. He just sprays what he should have kicked. Yeah, just the minor score. And Nick Fosdyke wouldn't be too happy with that finish. And he's a laconical and a unique player, James Howard, but he just seemed to kick that one with no real intent. The Dogs push it out. They're going to turn this over again, I believe. Some good work from Alex Foote, but he's tackled. The ball spills free. They've got another opportunity now, just couldn't find the handle. And that was, I think, Jacob Harvey.
Correct, Harvey. Just couldn't quite get a grasp on it. I tell you what, it's a brave man for the Bulldogs in Henderson, playing onto himself with Casey steaming at him from those kick-outs. Casey can smell blood on every opportunity. It's a boundary throw inside the Bats 50.
Sorry, mate. You go.
Over the back. Quick hands there from the captain Moyle, but found a Bulldog in Sayacott. Not sure if I got that one right, Craig, but in the meantime, it's fallen the way of Harvey. Spears a pass in, has a man all on his own there in Larby. Takes a strong overhead mark. Distance won't be a problem, but it is a tight angle. He's right up against the boundary line here.
He's really presented as another option up there. You've got Casey and Larby. There's a real good option going forward for UTS. And this one, a difficult shot. He approaches it, just hangs it out. No one really at home for UTS, and the ball eventually gets batted over the line. 34 points the margin in favour of the Bats. I was going to say before, Liam, it looks like Murrell is going to play that role where he just stays off Widmer and tries to make some early contact. They've had some time, obviously, at half-time to really try and work out. You have to say Widmer is winning that ruck duel, but it's just not showing on the scoreboard, of course, for the Bulldogs.
You mentioned in that second quarter, the Bats on ballers have almost just starting to rove to Widmer's taps now as the Bulldogs bring it in. Kaika did well to bring it forward for the Bats, but the Bulldogs will come away here. Danaher leads in the race, well pursued there by Moyle. Could have been a free kick. Umpire said no. Kalina spots up a target. No communication there to the Bats. They had 2-on-1, and it was Keel doing very well for the Bulldogs, but they've turned it over again, so it'll be ball in the hands of Moyle.
Just the pressure that the UTS Bats are applying at the moment. It's forcing the turnovers. They go forward again now, UTS. Trying to bring that through there was Hewitt at the bottom of the pack. Couldn't get it clear. Now Tregonning again gets the handball clear, looking for Harvey. He's beset upon by a pack of dogs, and they can't quite get it out of there. Tackled over the line, and we'll have a boundary throw in. A little bit of what for there, nothing coming of it. Let's have a look at this contest here now with Murrell. You can see he wants to stay that 3 or 4 paces away. Doesn't want to get into a body contest. Gets that early touch and then attacks the footy. Did well on that occasion. Something that he can work on, certainly for the Bats. Moyle now, he's tackled. Good tackle applied. That was Latham, who's wearing the number 3. And he gets the free kick. And the Dogs try and get this out of defence. Not a great kick from Latham. In fact, it's dreadful. Kalina couldn't quite find the handle. Coming through now, and eventually gets out to Danaher. He's beset upon. Could it be high contact? It could have been high and low on that occasion, as the leg was grabbed on the shoulder. So Danaher, unfortunately you don't get 2 kicks for it. It's not a game of pool. As we go forward, worked under the ball there was Ipovic. And now they've just got numbers, UTS. Nethersole gets the ball out. Tregonning again on the right shoe. Goes forward. They've got the numbers. Falls fortuitously. Inside 50, looking there for Casey. Did well to keep the ball in front. Drives in forward, but now the Dogs, they've got a bit of space on the far side, and they've got some run.
McKinlay with the ball for the Dogs. Opts not to use the man outside. He will go deep to the top of the square here. The lead comes from Farrelly, but well done there by, looks like Nethersole. Looks like he can play forward and back. It's come to the ground now for the Bats. Could have been a free kick there. Perhaps caught one high from lower, did Mitchell, but the umpire didn't see it, so it'll be a ball up. We're inside the Dogs forward 50. They will want to kick a goal here to get that scoreboard ticking over.
6.5 played, third term. They need a goal, the Dogs. Off the back of the pack, pushing through there, Danaher. In there as well was Maddox for the Bats. Spills free again, just a hit and hope. Pushing forward, another top knot there in the form of Fletcher Rowe. And the ball goes over the boundary line. They have a boundary throw-in just inside 50. And the Dogs on the attack.
As strong as the Bats have been, you mentioned that flattering scoreline. The Bulldogs still in this contest. The Bats find themselves a long way ahead though, as we look like we're heading for another boundary throw-in. Danaher decides to keep it in and eventually sidesteps over the boundary line. And we will have that throw-in.
No, he
in
won't.
Fact,
So holding the ball was the call. Probably a correct decision. He was trying to work his way along that boundary line. He had plenty of opportunities to get rid of it. Pushed under the ball there from Howard, but it's Widmer going back and taking a strong mark. Needs to drive them forward. They need a couple of goals, and they need to get them quickly, the Dogs. The ball comes in. The big fly spills free to the advantage there of Lower. Could have been holding the ball, but the umpire lets them play. This one bounces back inside the field of play, and a couple of bodies going everywhere, and eventually there's a free kick. It's going to come back, I think, to McIntyre. In fact, no, it's going to go further afield. It's going to be Alex Foote. Now, we know he could probably have a shot from there. He decides to just put it to the top of the square. Not a bad option. Eventually out the back and mopped up in some form by Kalina. It's going to come back though. Another kick on goal is going to go out of bounds on the full. Not a great option for the Dogs. And UTS will have a chance as the light rain starts to fall again here at Henson Park. That won't help the Dogs' cause.
no, as that rain comes down, it only makes that 34-point margin even greater. But the Bats have made an error here. They've attempting to spot up that man on the outer wing. They've sent it out of bounds on the full, so perhaps now the opportunity for the Bulldogs to hit back. Chip kick comes in and finds a strong mark taken there on the chest by Farrelly. He did well there, sliding, taking it full-chested, but not an easy shot here. Craig, he's right up against the boundary on that outer side, and it will take his best effort from here.
It's one of those players, Ryan Farrelly, that the Dogs need to start firing. He is their forward option. He steps close. Not a bad-looking kick off the boot. They like it through the middle, and if they can get a couple of those from Farrelly, they'll be well back into this game. Margin back to 28 points.
That is a super set shot at goal from Farrelly, and you mentioned he has been their key target inside 50 all game. And they probably don't want him taking too many marks right out on the boundary, but if he's going to kick them like that, they'll be happy with him taking them from anywhere. So the Dogs claw one back. But as you mentioned, that light rain has returned, which is good news for the Bats as they have that lead at the moment, but goals will be more and more difficult to come by as the ball's back in the middle, and Widmer again wins this one down, but only as far as Howard and Kirkhope. And Murrell goes in and after it on the deck. Quick kick out by Mitchie. Larby rises up and takes a great mark in tricky conditions. Plays on quickly and kicks to the top of the square. Casey, he's 2-on-1. What can he do here? But a clever fist over the back there by McKinlay. It'll be a boundary thrown right next to the point post in the Bats forward 50.
Tom Larby just growing in this game, just working his way into it, and you can just see there as that ball came in, the Dogs obviously have recognised that Casey is a damaging option. Just dropping that player back onto him. Widmer just overruns the ball. Murrell goes back and gets it. Couldn't get it clear there was O'Callaghan. Drops out now to Anea. And now Foot overruns it, falls beautifully to Harvey. Harvey quickly on the boots, and it hits the post.
That would have been a dagger in the hearts of the Dogs for the Bats to hit back so quickly. But they'll bring it in. Got a man free there in Foot. He's been busy in this third term already. Been sold in the first two, but in the end, he's just kicked it straight into the man on the mark in Tregonning. Even with the ball in the opposition's hand, Tregonning still dangerous inside that forward 50. So boundary throw-in out of sight of Henson Park. The Bats lead it by 29 points, just over 11 minutes played.
A great kick there from Sakayot. Give him enough space. Murrell there up against, I think that was Rowe. And they'll be liking that contest, the Bats. They get another opportunity. High ball. Umpire was going to pay the mark. Not sure it travelled the required distance, but we don't know now. As Sayakot, I'm going to go with.
We're going with Sayakot?
Yeah, just take a breath, pause, Sayakot. This term has a chance, not a great kick again, and Murrell couldn't bring the chest mark in. They go again, Danaher in there, as is, that's Latham. Latham eventually applies a tackle, and the Bats get the free kick. They take the advantage going forward. In there, Tregonning goes back and gets his own ball, gets it clear. The umpire said you had a couple of options and you should have taken the first one. The Dogs now with a free kick. Not a lot on offer downfield. The lead comes in the form of Farrelly well down the ground. No one forward of halfway at the moment for the Dogs. That's going to make it hard. O'Donnell attacks the ball. Could have been a free kick from the back, and it is. And now they've got a chance to run. They break. McKinlay goes. Tries to get the ball to him. A little bit ambitious on that occasion. And back there, Ipovic does well. And the Bats now with a chance to go inside 50.
Kirko just slams on the boot. Oh, Larby! Larby with a big fly from 3 deep. Ball comes to ground. Lloyd's first to the contest, but he's pursued there by 3 Dogs defenders. They get a quick kick away. It's not going to quite go across that boundary line. Moyle sends it back inside to the top of the square. Casey sets himself, but terrific work at the 4, the ball by McKinlay, and he sends it to the out of the wing towards McIntyre.
McIntyre on the far side of Henson Park. He's tackled, the ball spills free. Almost be a free kick there. Wasn't forthcoming. Now that the UTS boys go forward again. Not a great kick off the boot, but well read. And they play on quickly. UTS, they just want to get it in there. Coming forward. And now with, that was Harvey. Harvey swings it back. It was online. Just didn't have the height. Pushing forward now is Lloyd. Lloyd on the boot, slots it through the middle. And the Bats get another one. And they're not letting anyone in this game. They lead by 35 points.
Terrific finish there by Lloyd. Started this game on the bench, but every time he's come on the ground, he's had an impact as that light rain continues to fall. That margin now out to 35 points, becoming ever more difficult for the Bulldogs to claw back. Just a slight injury concern on the outer wing there for McIntyre. He was wrapped up in a tackle by Brown, and it looks as though he might have gone down under the pressure of Brown on his ankle awkwardly. It's in the hands of a couple of the NSW trainers, but looks to try to be playing on with it. But another goal to the Bats, and the ball's back in the middle.
10-8 plays 5-3. The margin 35 points in favour of UTS. And they go forward again, leading to the ball, and that's been the story of the night. Not a bad tackle applied there. The ball spills free. Getting back there was Foot. He is ridden into the ground. The ball spills free again. Another good tackle. You're going to see a lot of this now with this rain coming down. The ball is going to get very, very slippery, and the defensive side of the game is going to come into play. Eventually it's Danaher who'll get the free kick on this occasion. Comes wide. Not sure that was the option. 2-on-1 contest out here, and the Bats should come away with it. Walling just steps inside, gets around. They like that in the bleachers. And it spills free again. There's not going to be a lot of flying marks taken. And we've got Juling holding the balls here. Both umpires called it. And they're on the save wavelength. And the ball will go to Hewitt, Jack Hewitt.
It's been good today, Hewitt. Really presented in that second term when the conditions dried up a bit, and now that it's wet, he's chasing the footy on the deck. He goes the short option in Tregonning, and somehow Tregonning found himself 5 or 10 metres of space, and Hewitt just speared the pass in. So Tregonning, chance to kick his third for the game. He's had one in every term so far. And that rain, still a bit of a light mist, but it is starting to become more heavy. So Tregonning on his way in, sets sail, starts it down the middle. The umpire does not move. Tregonning has his third, and the Bats lead grows to 41.
Great kick in these conditions from Tregonning. It is really starting to mist in, and it's progressed from light rain to let's get out of this, as those that were enjoying the bleachers make their way into the King George V stand. My favourite stand in AFL Sydney footy. 16.5 played, and the Bats out to a 41-point margin, and it is getting ugly for the University of New South Wales Eastern Suburbs. Danaher, well, he's been trying very hard this evening. Oh, right in the bump in there was Mitchell. Nearly got away with it. The umpire said, oh, he did get away with it. I think he put his mid out there, tried to break the tackle, which the umpires usually don't like the look of. Let's just cop one high. And a good mark taken from Larby right in the corner of Henson Park. You can just see that rain really teeming down now. It's thick and it is constant. Must work at ground level. In there again is Law. Comes clear to Latham for the Dogs off the deck. They're going to see that a little bit more often too. Going back with the flight of the ball is Harvey, and a good mark taken. And that rain is really starting to fall.
Harvey, that is a booming kick in these conditions with a heavy footy. Casey works strongly to the front, can't quite take the mark. Met hard out there was Larby again. Tregonning goes on his non-preferred left, sends it inside 50, the fly will come. No one can take a mark. It's going to be tough to take a pack mark in these conditions. The umpire's picked out a free kick there. Looks like it's going to go the way of the Bulldogs. In fact, no, it's going to go...
He was adamant that was the way the arm was supposed to point, but he...
As we have a closer look here, it looks like Harvey's got the free kick. He's been good in this third term. Kicking it his second for the game. Starts it at the right-hand point post, can't get it to work back, and it's a behind there to Harvey. So, again, that lead grows, if only by a point this time, but they're out to 42 points.
7 goals in these conditions is a very big ask for any team. It's the huddle forms here at the top of the 50 arc. It's definitely a tactic that the Dogs like to employ. They go wide from the first kick. They haven't got the numbers that you'd think they'd be wanting to get. UTS read that well. Off the back, Kerber. He's tackled in there, and the umpire's very quick with the my ball call there. I thought Kerber was wrapped up quite well in the tackle and almost been holding the ball. McKinlay now wraps the tackle around. In there as well as Anea, and well, this is playing right into the hands of the UTS Bats. Stoppage after stoppage. They're 7 goals up. They don't need to kick any more scores. They just need to defend what they've already got in the bank.
Again, Widmer wins it down, and Danaher. They've been two of the Bulldogs' best today. Maddox opts to take the tackler on and gets caught. McIntyre sends it towards centre half forward, where it looks as though Archibald's got out on his own. Now there's space inside the forward 50 if he can move it quickly. He does just that, but to no one in particular. Law leads back in the race. He's well pursued there by Lower. Handball to Ipovic, back to Law, and he's away here, Law, and he will kick towards centre wing. Wants a mark, Larby. Slippery ball, can't quite take the chest mark. In there is Widmer for the Dogs, as is Anir. Anir gets it out to Keel. Keel snaps it to centre half forward. Strong punch there from behind by Kalina, and Mitchell will just soccer it to the outer side, where Brown leads in the race.
Interesting you called there Ed Keel. I haven't heard a lot of him this afternoon. I keep saying this afternoon, it's well into the night here. It's just tipped into the, well past my bedtime, let's put it that way. No, Ed Keel, usually one of the prime movers, of course, with his brother Jeremy, who's not out there tonight. But interesting, seen a lot of him as the Bulldogs have an opportunity to go inside. Mark taken almost at the top of the 50-metre arc. Comes clear. McIntyre, he's been good for the Dogs. Comes out now to Latham. Turns and goes. Just got the edge of the jumper there in defence. And Law feeds it out. And the Bats have some space to play with. They push forward again. And working his way back in there is Henderson. And the Dogs with a chance to get out of defence.
Kick towards the centre square, but Kirkhope intercept Mark, and he's got Murrell all on his own here. Can play on if he wants to, and he does just that. He'll kick it long towards Larby. Expect him to fly. Well spoiled there by the Bulldogs. Casey at the fall of the ball, the big unit. He's well tackled there, wrapped up. Bulldogs need some clean possession here. They can't quite find it. Could have been a free kick in the back there to Lloyd, and it will be. The tackle there from O'Callaghan. Just the momentum carried him forward, and Lloyd was happy to take it to ground. So he's got the free kick here, and chance for the Bats to extend that lead to 8 goals. He's already kicked one in this quarter, has Lloyd, I think. He's about
back yourself in.
He's about 20 metres out on a slight angle, so it always makes me nervous when they go back and test the old hamstrings. But it is a heavy footy now with that moisture. He's on his way in. Tyson Lloyd, his second of the quarter. Starts at the right goal post rather, but it's snuck inside. The Bats have another one, and that lead now out to 48 points. Almost 22 minutes gone in this third quarter.
8 goals is the margin, 48 points, and it's been clinical since quarter time for UTS. And the Dogs just really haven't had an answer. And Nick Fosdyke, well, he'd be overjoyed by the efforts of the UTS side in his maiden coaching stint with UTS.
He'd be keeping the cards very close to the chest though, Craig.
Oh yeah.
He'd be overjoyed on the inside, wouldn't be showing too much externally.
He won't be pulling the bricks out at training during the week, let's put it that way. As McIntyre again, this time just spills free, trying to get the Dogs going forward. They need something. This is called play on. Danaher couldn't take the mark. It is teaming down now. And UTS again. Give them don't take nothing away from the Dogs. They have continued to try and come. They just haven't had the answers. And there's Robbie at the bottom of the pack. He's been held well since that first term. Danaher again. Always seems to be where the ball is. And pinballed around there was Fletcher Rowe. Eventually the ball trickles over the boundary line.
You mentioned Danaher there. He has battled all games so far for the Dogs. He and Widmer been clearly the two best for the UNSW side. That boundary throw-in is going to fall very short. Larby would have liked it to play on, but the umpire's called it back. Again, Widmer and Murrell. It's been a tough old slog. Two very big bodies out there. Widmer's probably got the honours there as the third quarter siren blows.
And it has been a very good quarter again for UTS. They've extended their 31-point margin at half-time out to 48 points at the final break. And they are cock-a-hoop at the moment, the UTS boys jogging it in. Not great conditions for football in this third term, but certainly been a good one for UTS. 12-9-81 plays 5-3-33, and Liam, as you mentioned, there have been some good contributors for the Bulldogs, but they just haven't been able to get the scores on the board.
You're right. Danaher and Widmer, we mentioned both of those players numerous times. They've been battling hard, but the evenness of the contribution so far from the UTS side. Tregoning has 3 goals to his name, but the performance of the whole 22 on the field for the Bats so far has been terrific. Murrells might have lost his ruck duel against Widmer, but he has continued to battle hard. So 1 quarter to go, and let's hope that the Bats can run on with it.
The good thing for Murrell, he's probably learning a lot out of this game as well. If he's going to come up against bigger bodies with that style of rucking, he's going to take a lot out of this game. And look, you'd like to learn some lessons in a game that you're 48 points up at 3/4 time, that's for sure. So what's your view there, Liam, of the umbrella out at the huddle too? I think that's management staff, is it, out there?
Yeah, no, I can see a few of the assistant coaches under there, Andrew Christie, and but you notice just to the left of the umbrella, he does have a rain jacket on, but Nino Williamson, the team manager of the UTS Bats, he's the heart and soul of the footy club. There he is, getting a zoom in on Nino there. Does a lot for this footy club off the field, and he's a crowd favourite when he does pull on the boots in some of the lower grades. It's always exciting when Nino gets near the footy. He gets a huge cheer from the Bats fans.
We wouldn't see any... I think they almost broke then to go back out into positions, I think, but they were called back in. I was going to say, you won't see Nick Fosdyke out there with a number. He's not even got the hood on anymore. He's out there. He's one amongst it.
Well, you mentioned him being amongst it. He is more than capable of pulling the boots back on right now. We had a time trial session in Centennial Park during the pre-season, and as embarrassing as it is to admit, Fozzie won in an absolute canter. A 5K time trial, and he coasted him.
Been out of the game for a while, but obviously looking after himself. How are the tats going, by the way? I wanted to actually see how the tats are going.
Yeah, no, there's Fozzie's still got a solid bunch of stickers on one of the arms there, and I think Rawson Kirkhope, and notice that Harvey's also sporting some impressive artwork on one of his arms, so a bit of ink coming into a few tough stickers coming into the Bat side this year, which always makes me feel. I always played a bit taller, knowing there were some blokes with some tats running on my side.
At the same time as going, I couldn't do one of that, it hurt too much. Bulldogs have broken here. We're just talking through the break about what's going on. Of course, the round continues tomorrow with all teams playing their first round games. One of the interesting ones will be out there at the Cambridge Oval. Out there in Rouse Hill, the East Coast Eagles back in the AFL Sydney competition, the BLK AFL Sydney competition this year, and they take on the reigning premiers Manly. That will be a good battle, and will probably give us a pretty good indication early as to where both of those sides are. Of course, Manly have lost a few players over the break, and of course the East Coast Eagles dropping back down from the NEFL competition.
Haven't lost too many players, have they?
Haven't lost a lot of the core of the Eagles out there, so that'll be a good one to keep an eye on. But right now, we're keeping an eye on UTS and University of New South Wales Eastern Suburbs. And it's UTS right on top as we get ready for the final term here at Henson Park. And straight away out of the middle, and it's UTS on the attack. Kick goes forward. How did he hold that? Larby. Wet conditions. Took it in the hands. And he's going to have a shot from outside 50. That's how confident Tom Larby is right now.
It's an unconventional drop of the footy, Craig.
He's just grown in this game. He worked his way in, and just when you thought Casey was going to be the superstar up forward, Tom Larby said, I'll have a crack. But not bad effort there from Jack Hewitt.
Fantastic pack mark there. Took it on the chest, rose up. Jack Hewitt, another one who has presented strongly all game for the Bats. An opportunity to kick the first of this fourth term inside the first minute. He's on his way in. He started at the right-hand goal post and he's just sprayed it to the right. So the Bats get the first score of the fourth quarter, but it is a point and their lead is now out to 49.
Normally I'd start talking about the boys heading back to a certain establishment that they used to head back to last year, but I believe the UTS boys have moved.
We have relocated over in the pre-season. We thank everybody at the Light Brigade for the last couple of years there, but we have relocated to the Royal Oak down in Double Bay.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a nice little establishment. You'd think the beer prices would be a little bit more expensive, but they're quite reasonable, Craig.
That's good. The boys do enjoy wins, and they weren't coming as often as they'd liked in the 2014 season. But right now, as we kick off this final term, it looks like they're going to start the season with a W, and they'll be happy at that down at the Royal Oak. Oh, gee, the boys on the Bulldogs don't mind heading back to the Doncaster a few times either as well, I believe. Apologies if they've changed, but didn't mind the Doncaster. Did a great stitch there as the UTS boys pushing forward. Nothing really coming of this final term so far, and the Bats will be just quite happy with that. The rain continues to fall.
Hoping for no injuries, I would imagine, both sides now, but Anir looks to be stretching out a right calf there. Hopefully it's just a bit of cramp. Conditions have been heavy. Widmer, again, terrific for the Bulldogs. He chased that footy on the ground and he gets the clearing kick. He spills over the boundary line, escorted over there by Rowe for the Dogs. Boundary throw in, out of sight of Henson Park. Just 3 minutes gone here, and the Bats lead it by 49 points.
Great facility here at Henson Park. The ground itself looking fantastic, but my favourite part of Henson Park is just drive the car right up to the fence, sit in the front seat, maybe with the heater on, and you get to watch a good game. Plenty of cars done just that. In fact, a couple got the headlights on just to fill in the dark spots on this near side.
Great to see, as long as you don't cop a heavy wet sharing through the windshield.
Pushing through on that occasion was Lower, trying to get the Dogs going forward. They do so now. Kalina, he's been very good for UTS in the back, just drops the barrel. Thank you very much. Tregoning up there. Larby, beautiful skills, gets it going forward.
Oh.
Casey takes us. In fact, it's not Casey.
It's KK. Sliding in there. We'll take that. I imagine Kaika would take that as an absolute compliment that you thought he was Casey-like in the way he let out at that one.
He let out. Quite to maintain the same hairline. Solidarity.
James Kaika kicking for his second. Be a great return for him as a small forward if he can get a second up on the scoreboard. Distance might test him. He set sail. Looks like it isn't going to quite make the distance. Howard lurking over the back of the pack, but it has been rushed through for a behind. The lead now out to an even 50 points for the Bats.
It's been a fantastic first up effort from UTS. If we go back, and this one's going to be turned over, a good mark taken from Tregoning, and he has been very much the catalyst for this UTS effort tonight. If we go back to that first term, it was skillful, it was fast, it was well paced, it was 2 points the margin at quarter time. And then UTS just seemed to find another gear, and as I said, this man, Tregoning, has been the driver of that. Steps over the paint, throws it forward, not going to be a goal. In fact, it's going to be called a point, I think, by the boundary umpire, and the goal umpire chose to ignore, and it's going to be a free kick to UTS. There's definitely a signal there from the boundary umpire to say that's yours.
Everyone just stood around waiting for someone else to take charge. In the end, Batson made a bit of a mess of that one, but it will be a boundary thrown out of sight of Henson Park. 50 points the difference. So you would think that the Bats are home in this one, as that rain continues to just missed down onto Henson Park.
Murrell and Widmer. Murrell gets the front spot. Widmer just bodies him out of it. No one really gets a touch on the ball, but the Dogs come away with it. The kick, though, left a bit to be desired and goes over the boundary line, far side.
The Bats will enjoy this one, Craig. This fixture last year, a heartbreaking loss, sort of sent the Bats season off the end of a cliff, really. We're up at three-quarter time and ended up losing by 3 points. So, good, strong start to 2015 for the Bats.
UTS now just basically bludgeoning the ball forward by foot, by hand. And the kick comes in with back with the fly of the ball. Great courage. Larby was coming in at pace. Here he is, Casey, steps up in the tackle, hands it off to Kaker. Kaker throws it up in the air. Larby takes the chest mark. 5th grab, and he's pulled it in. The umpire says you can have that one. And I want to say Joel Larby. I don't know why, but Tom Larby.
He looks like a Joel.
Ask him if he could change. Make it easier for us. Tom Larby will have a shot on goal. Tight angle, but hasn't stopped him in the past. Measured approach. Drops it now. Awkward little drop, but it's going to work all right for him, but he's actually pushed it straight across the face of goal and out of bounds on the full.
He's missed a lot there, but he has been busy, and you would think that could be in the votes for this game for the Bats. He's been involved in every quarter. It'll be the Dogs to bring it in. Kick to a pack. Mauling attempts the spoil from behind. No mark taken. And Moyle, quick kick out of the back, falls his way. Moyle sends it back to the top of the square. Where's Howard? Can't get a clean run at it. Maddox couldn't quite take it off the pack. Working hard back there is Robbie for the Bulldogs. Casey bullocking, as always. Kerber at the fall of the ball too. Kiker hunting it. And Lloyd with the ball at the bottom of the pack. Lucky it's popped out. He could have been in trouble there. Quick kick out of the pack by Hewitt towards goal. And Jack Hewitt has kicked his 3rd goal of the game. Quick snap out of the pack there by the big man. And the Bats go further ahead.
Great kick. He's picked it off the deck, threw it on the boot, and it sailed over the umpire's head. And another goal, 56 points the margin now. You're a bit tight on James Howard there. You thought he should have been in that position. Just let you know, Liam, he's on the bench at the moment, so be a fair run at it from where he's standing right now. But you're right, that's the stuff that's tailor-made for James Howard. Umpire comes in. I'll do it again in the middle. Murrell and Widmer. Once again, Widmer wins it, but the clearance comes to the Bats. They drive it forward. Mark unable to be taken, and the handball up to Dronning says, no, thank you. You're not going to tackle me tonight. Throws it on the boot, and I think he's hit the post.
Looks like it has grazed the post on the way through there, Craig. Tell you what, I'm not sure what the punishment is for kicking 6 points, but Dragonning's got 3-6 to his name at the moment, I believe. The Dogs bring it in. Long kick towards centre half back. All spoiled from behind by Kalina. He's been solid at centre half back for the Bats today. There's Anderson. A Bulldog at the bottom of the pack there, wrapped up.
Anderson with the tackle. 3-6, that's 4-zip, isn't it? Murrell drops it over there, wins that tackle thing. It's almost like the ruckman who wins the contest doesn't get the clearance. He actually got up and over on that occasion, but it's the Bulldogs who push the ball wide and over the boundary line.
So it's a boundary thrown out of side of Henson Park. Again, Murrell and Widmer just pushes this in advantage, only as far as Law. He's been good today for the Bats. O'Donnell with a fist away. Lands in the hands of Lloyd, but the umpire's picked out a free kick. He's paid advantage. It's fallen to Hewitt. Snaps around the body. Was there a touch on the line? There was.
Just.
Desperate touch there by Lower by the looks of it. Hewitt just missed out. But again, the Bats' lead grows. 58 points the difference now, if my maths is correct. 10.5 gone in the 4th term.
the Dogs. Trying to run it out of defence on this occasion. Get it clear of the 50. But there's UTS players at every contest. Predicted it well, Liam, before the game. The contested football has really been a feature of the UTS game thus far. Ball comes in. On the call, plenty of players around this pack. That one's not coming out easily. And we'll have another another ball up.
It is an older list of bats, so not a lot of leg speed in the side, but this sort of contested footy plays right into their hands. As Widmer comes to the bench to have a rest for the Bulldogs. The ball spills over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in right in front of coach Nick Fosdyke there for the Bats. He's living every moment of this game. His first game in charge of UTS. It will be Murrell going up against Henderson in the ruck, but
free kick for a hold off the ball. It's going to go
Ipovitz.
to the Bats, to Ipovitz.
Lloyd, in fact.
Of course, the other fixtures on this weekend as the Bats go forward inside 50. Mark wasn't able to be taken. Tregonning in the area. McKinlay for the Dogs, but has turned it over. Lands in the arms of Kirko. Too far for him to score. Just throws on the boot. Gets a little bit of extra out of it. It bounces through. My apologies, Ryan Kirko. And Rawson, that is. And he gets it through. The distance was an issue for him because I reckon it bounced just in front of the line. But fortuitously for him, it bounced truly. And they're really pushing it on now. As I was just alluding to before, North Shore take on Western Suburbs tomorrow afternoon. Pennant Hills and St George will do battle out there at Mike Kenny Oval. That'll be a good one to watch as well. And Sydney University this week have the bye with the Eagles playing the Giants in the other game for the round. It's great to have footy back, and it's certainly great for the UTS boys at the moment. They lead by 64 points.
Danaher again for the Bulldogs. Jeez, he's battled hard all day. Again, the Bats players swarm. I reckon a Bulldogs player at the bottom of the pack. No, the ball has popped out there. Like a bar of soap at the moment in this final quarter so far, and eventually the umpire blows his whistle. We'll have a ball up not too far away from the centre circle. Umpire throws it up quickly and Morling wins this one down, but he's given away a free kick there. Just raised the arm and copped Pascoe.
Could have been a 50-metre penalty there. The ball just lobbed back. We've seen on occasions umpires penalise that one. And the UTS back six. Well, they should be really happy with their efforts this evening. They have let nothing through, but for a few early in the first term that were just good, skillful goals. They have been stoic in defence. Really contributed to this UTS win. Foot throws it around the corner. Going through there was Ipovitz. Couldn't quite get it clear, gets stuck between his legs, and the umpire says, I'll have it.
You mentioned those Bats defenders, Craig. You've got to give a big round of applause to Ben Netherslow for the job he's done on Ryan Farrelly in this second half of the game. Kept him goalless in the second term as he was looking dangerous in that first half, and it goes towards that pairing. Just put the mocker on him.
They've asked the question here, the Bulldogs. Just under pressure. Very rarely see those come off anymore. The Dogs, well, they get, I believe, might be their first score for the quarter. Rush behind. Big kick out of defence. The big fly at the back of the pack, unable to bring it down. The Dogs have an opportunity now. Tried to go the underground handball. Could have been a free kick there. Contact below the knees. Umpire says it's all okay. And they drive it out of defence. Good work on that occasion from Eamon O'Donnell. Got his front position and took the chest mark. But now they go wide again. Lands in the arms here of Sayakot. Could have been touched off the boot. Umpire's not calling it that way. Over the back of the pack. Danaher running through. Some good work there. body in from Anderson. Made sure he didn't have a run at the football. Quickly off the boot. On that occasion, it was Farrelly, but hits the point post. And the kick will come back in from UTS.
Howard down the wrong end of the ground to take a specky, but he sends it in.
Takes them anywhere, what are you saying?
The ball just wrapped up there. Quick hands out by the Bulldogs, only as far as Kalina. He seems to be opting for that torpedo punt at every opportunity here. Big Casey comes storming through. He actually got bumped away from this one, but somehow the ball's popped over the back to him. If he can sit up and take it cleanly, tries to shrug the tackle, gets a good handball out to Tregonning. He hands it off to the running Hewitt, snaps around the body, and in fact, Hewitt has taken the mark right on top of the goal square for the Bats. Chance to kick his force for the game. And does so very quickly, wastes no time. I think he thinks they're trailing. But Jack Hewitt has his 4th of the game for the Bats. Been a dominant forward tonight for UTS. He and Tregonning both with 4 goals to their name.
And they crack the 100-point margin too. Oh, sorry, not margin, the 100-point barrier, UTS. So in addition to a real clinical and fantastic effort all across the ground, they've been able to put it on the scoreboard as well. 69 points the margin, but 15-13, 103, 5-4, 34 to the Dogs. It has been a fantastic effort from UTS and one that they can build on going forward in the season. They'll be very happy with this. I know in the pre-season there was a definite switch of how they wanted to train and prepare for the 2015 season, and by all accounts at the moment, the approach has paid off. The Dogs push forward. And there is Parmenter, but hassled out of it by Brendan Brown. A big sweeping switch, hit and hope off the boot of Kalina, I think it was. And it might just pay off. Nethersole gets the ball, keeping going forward. Harvey runs onto it. They've done it very well. Push forward now. Tregonning still amongst it as well. Push through as Harvey. Handballs off. I think that was Larby. Goes forward. Howard pushes him under the ball. Gets away with it. Spins around on the right boot. High ball. Is it going to go the journey? It is. And he's off and running again.
There he is. James Howard, the excitement machine. That was just, had his name written all over it as it came into the 450. Thought his opponent there was unlucky not to get a free kick. There was certainly some hands around the back area, but the umpire said you got to give the forward the benefit of the doubt, Craig. That's who the punters want to see.
Spoken like a true forward pocket.
There was, just in back play there was a huge shepherd laid out on the outer wing there on a near. It was Law that came through for the Bats. Both players up and about, but it was a big shepherd.
Back in the pack, Danaher at the bottom of the pack. In there as well as Law. Trying to bust through a tackle, and he's got the old reverse flip over headlock. WWE style, and then he is penalised for it. So he was on their Kerber at the bottom of that pack. Once again, just throwing the ball back with a little bit of loft. They'll clamp down on that during the week. The Dogs just trying to take something out of this game. This is not the start, and as it's just on here at the moment, and tensions run over. In there was Alex Foote. Umpire does the sensible thing, gets them going again, and they're away, but not what you want to see. 75-point margin, first game of the season. Tension's just boiling over just a little bit. Comes out, almost high contact there on Latham. Umpire says not enough to justify a free kick. Dragged off the ball. You almost want to just send a message out there and say, look, this one's done. Let's all shake hands and go away with it. And there's a free kick off the ball. It's going to be holding the man. It's against Alex Foote. And that was that contest. In fact, it's going to Alex Foote. It's against Kirkhope. And that was that contest that's just boiled over just briefly. As they go forward, the Dogs. Danaher again, trying to bust through the pack, just doesn't have the frame to back it up.
Oh.
Just plants a shoulder into, I think it was Law, and it's now balled over again. The free kick will go to Law. And he's not happy with the treatment, that's for sure.
The Bats leaders need to get in here and just clear the boys out of this. There's absolutely nothing to be gained here for UTS. And thankfully, the umpires handled both of those little spot fires very well. He played on quickly the first time, and he's awarded the free kick quickly the second time.
It'll be foot to take the kick. And he drives it forward. Good kick in the end, right out in front of Farrelly, and that's the sort of delivery and execution that they've missed all night. And Farrelly just gives a little stretch of the hamstrings. 21 and a half played, final term. Salvage something from this. Farrelly. Not a good kick off the boot. It's fading back, but not enough. Just the minor score. 74 points the margin now.
So, the Bats, terrific win first up. Great way to start their 2015 season with so many new faces, a new coach on board. There'll be plenty of excitement around this senior group heading into the season. It'll be Ipovitz to bring it in, just stretching his hamstring late in this game. One of the senior players at the club. Got a few years on his side, so hopefully he doesn't twing anything.
Round one fatigue, I think it is. And if only for 18 hours, the UTS will be on top of the ladder in the BLK AFL Sydney competition. A handy little percentage as well, as Parmenter takes a mark. And he'll have a shot on goal. And rejoice in that fact. I mean, they were wooden spooners in 2014. Desperately want to turn their fortunes around as Parmenter lines up. Umpire has a very good look at it and says that'll do. And the Dogs get one late in the game. It's a cliche, but it is too little too late for this one. It's a 23.5-minute mark of this, the final term.
Sounds like most of those cars parked around the edge of the ground that we spoke about, Craig, are Doggies fans, as we hear a few of the horns being tooted in celebration of that goal.
It's country footy and I love it. Like the other one when you back the ute up backwards and you just get the fold-up chairs out. Create your own grandstand.
The esky on top.
Back in the middle. Widmer, as he's done all night, gets the ruck contest, but the tackling pressure from the Bats has been fantastic. Plenty of players around this. Ducked in, and the umpire has no option but to come in and ball it up again. There'd be 24 players around this pack at the moment. And it's just volleyball. Tregoning with intent. Latham dispossessed. And the umpire's seen something off the ball. It's going to come back. It's going to be against Tregoning.
Just held on to that tackle a few seconds too long there. It's going to be downfield.
Robbie has to go across his mark. Still no one on the mark, so he goes again. Joel Robbie inside. The kick, not a great one. Spills free. Can they get a late goal, UTS? And into the arms of Morling. Looks around for options in the end, just decides to bang it long. Casey, Howard lurking. Casey in there. The grunt, the flare. Howard running around, just trying to find something. As the ball gets banged in from Kerber. And now with Ipovitz wandered down to the forward end of the ground. Alex Foote in there for the Dogs. High ball. Camped under it there. Could have got a free kick in some cases there. Keel. Umpire not forthcoming and eventually gets the free kick for in the back. And it's illegal in some states. Keel eventually gets the kick.
Bit to say there to Ipovitz. Does Keel. Wants to target short. Kalina again in the way. Again, opts not to go for the mark and goes the big fist. Hewitt flies again from behind. Almost takes another strong chest mark. Bats player in a bit of trouble there in the middle. Let's hope the skipper Moyle's okay.
Lower back, yeah.
Yeah.
Or is it? It's everything.
Looks to be. It's been a tough old night of footy here at Henson Park, so there's going to be a few sore bodies.
Very proppy. Ben Moyle. Extra day for recovery, of course. A Friday night game to kick off the season. But for the weather, it's been a good spectacle out here at Henson Park. As the Dogs trying to salvage something from the game. Pascoe, haven't heard him a lot this evening. Off hands. Keel in there. Couldn't quite get a run at it. Just diving through on the ball there was Morling. Applying the tackle. Kerber. It spills free as the siren sounds to end this one. And a little bit going on, but nothing really to talk of. Just a toe-to-toe. Thank you very much. Appreciate the game. And in the end, that's the way it should end, as the UTS Bats, will they notch up a win in the first round of the 2015 BLK AFL Sydney season. And a good win it was then. The margin so close at quarter time, but from the quarter time break onwards, it has been a dominant UTS side who have taken out this game by 68 points. 16-13, 109. University of New South Wales, Eastern Suburbs, 6-5-41. And the Bats will be enjoying that one tonight back at the Royal Oak. And one bloke who will certainly be enjoying it is Tregonning, who had a fantastic game, Scott Tregonning. And for mine was best of field, but he had plenty of contributors along with him in that UTS side.
Yeah, tough to go past Tregonning for best of field honours, but ably supported by a lot of his teammates. Have to give special mention to Jack Hewitt, who also has 4 goals to his name for the night. A great performance by him across 4 quarters. And the other player who probably rounds out the top 3 performers for the Bats tonight was Tom Larby. For a big man, he threw himself at everything. He was catching a wet footy as though it was dry conditions. And on the opposition side for the UNSW Bulldogs, the big man Widmer, he was dominant in the ruck all day. One of the Bulldogs' few winners on the ground. He really did dominate Murrell in the ruck. And Jeremy Danaher battled manfully all night for the Bulldogs, but unfortunately too little was left to too few tonight for UNSW. So a terrific result for Nick Fosdyke. First game in charge of UTS Bats as he leads the side off the ground with a pretty big smile on his face, Craig.
Very much so, and Radford Casey has announced himself on the BLK AFL Sydney competition as well, so he'll be one to watch as we go for the UTS Bats run out 68-point winners here in the AFL Sydney match of the round at Henson Park. 16-13, 109. The University of New South Wales Eastern Suburbs 6-5-41. Liam Flanagan, thanks for joining us up here, and I look forward to maybe seeing you around the traps as well and catching you on Triple M when we get out there. Probably, what, are you out there next Saturday afternoon? Swans Giants?
Certainly will be. Swans Giants, local derby. Can't wait.
It's been a good night, and we've kicked off the 2015 season, and make sure you join us each week. Check the website out for the schedule, and also jump on Twitter at AFL Sydney and let us know your thoughts on the 2015 season. We'll wrap things up here from Henson Park. It's been a good win for the UTS Bats.